Okay, well, this is my last, unfortunately, this is my last session with you. And we're going to start with the first country to get independence in Africa. Well, actually, it is not, strictly speaking, the first country to get independence. The country we'll be talking about becomes known as Ghana, and it gets its independence in 1957, but it is often said to be the first country. This is not the case, really. If we include the countries of North Africa, Egypt gets independence from the British in 1952. It is a very curious situation in Egypt, where you do have a monarchy, but the monarchy has independence only in certain issues, and the British are still the British still the power and control, and especially their control over the Suez Canal. That's very important for Britain, to have that route through the Suez Canal. So there is a military overthrow of the monarchy by a man called Gamal Abdel Nasser. Nasser, he's a big figure in Egyptian politics even today. The memory of this man, because he's a nationalist. He's got socialist tendencies. He nationalizes lots of the industries. He takes the land away from the bourgeoisie and the feudal landowners. He redistributes land to small peasants and small farmholders. He introduces many progressive changes, but it's essentially a one-party state, and very strong. Nasser. Gamal Abdul Nasser, and he engineers a coup in Egypt in 1952. But he doesn't take, he's behind the scenes. He doesn't take power until 1954. But what is interesting, as I say, they throw out the British, they throw out the monarch, the king. But Britain, this is quite unique in the history of empires. Britain invades Egypt again in 1956 to try to take the Suez, because he nationalizes that canal. A canal was dug here, that's the Suez Canal, in the 19th century, in the 1860s, 1870s. That basically Africa was made into a island, in a sense. They cut a canal there so that shipping could go, because it was quite expensive for shipping to come through here, for shipping to go through to India and so on. This is still of crucial importance, that makes Egypt so important for the United States in the geopolitics of the region. So in 1956 there was a war by the British, the French and the Israelis, which was plotted by the three of them in Paris. They said they set up the Israelis to invade and to get Egypt involved in the war. And when the war broke out, they said, we'll come and keep you apart. We'll come and keep the Israelis and Arabs apart, so that they could take over the Suez. Okay? So that's just the background. So by 56, Egypt was already independent. In 1956, Sudan also becomes independent, just right next door. Okay? Ghana is a small little country there. It gets independence under the leadership of Okay, in Ghana. Now, Ghana is focused on, because if you think in terms of quote unquote black Africa, but it's actually not the first country to become independent. But after this, after 56, 57, 1960 is the big year of African independence, 1960. One country after the other become independent. As I told you, the context is after the Second World War, after 1945, the colonial powers, Britain and France, are rather weak economically. They have been destroyed during the Second World War. To maintain these colonies was becoming expensive. Also, ideologically, they had fought against Nazism and fascism, but in the colonies, they were behaving like fascists, authoritarian. I told you what happened with Mau Mau in Kenya, the brutality of colonial rule. So they decided to reduce their presence in the colonies, and they started a process of negotiating ways of decolonizing.